What's up, guys? This is Jairo from the Grind Fitness Training Systems. Today we're going to go over some hip mobility stuff. We're going to do basically a deep squat. So it's also called like a yoga squat. And then we're going to use some external load with the kettlebell. So depending on where you're at and what type of hip mobility and what type of ankle mobility, depends on how well you can do this. So the first one we're going to do is Charlo's actually going to sit on top of the yoga blocks here. Okay? Seems very simple, but actually just sitting in this position for most of us is going to be very difficult. Come on, this side over here real quick. So most people will have this type of situation where they kind of round their spine. So what we actually want to do when we're practicing this position is you actually want to posture yourself up. So even more, there you go. Separate your feet a little bit, Shaka. So the goal here is to try to keep yourself and your spine as aligned as possible. So it sounds kind of funny, but what you always want to do is exaggerate your tailbone back and push your chest up at the same time. Once you're able to sit in this position for more than like a minute or two, then you can progress to the next one. So stand up for 1 second. And then you just take one yoga block out, and then he sits back down. Now it's very difficult for him to actually sit down. Exactly. He can't help himself.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't do this. I could not do this.
Okay, so now it's very difficult for him. And he's actually pretty decently flexible. Most of us that do jiu-jitsu will have the flexibility, but usually there's some pain associated with sitting in this position. Okay, then once you're able to do this one, then he's gonna go ahead and get into the actual like full squat all the way down at the bottom. Okay, now if you kind of walk around to this one over here, now there's a few things that you want to do when you're watching this. You see how his knee is over his foot here. He's able to sit his hips back. He's actually got kind of limited hips here. He doesn't have very good hip mobility. So in his particular situation, he's strong enough to sit in this position, but he's not flexible enough to his hips don't give him the space to be able to do it. And this is where the external load is gonna actually kind of help with it. So what he's gonna do is he's gonna grab the kettlebell, almost as if he's doing a goblet squat. So he's gonna grab the outside of the horns of the kettlebell and he's gonna pull on it. And then he's going to sit in this position. All the load is doing is just adding like an outside force and putting him into a passive stretch for him to actually get deeper into his hips. Same concept here. Start with 30 seconds, work up to a minute, work up to a minute and a half, 2 minutes, so forth and so on, depending on how long you can do it. In all sincerity, you want to try to work up to about anywhere between 10 and 20 minutes to be able to sit here. Especially if you're actively doing jiu-jitsu, this is optimal guard retention. So for any type of grappling, this is guard retention, this is high kicks,